What's good, family? What's good, Leah Lou, Copenhagen, BJ Campbell, Tamila? What's good, family? I'm just coming through real quick. First off, let me say happy Valentine's Day to all of yous, okay? Happy Valentine's Day to the made-up holiday, okay? All right, so we're going to get into some stuff today. And today is Mystical Mondays. And usually what I do is an ancestor reading, but I got a transmission yesterday and Spirit wanted me to concentrate on something else. So the word that came through was transference. Okay? Transference. So I looked it up because, I always want to know, we learn together, right? We've talked about this. And the definition was good, Pink. The definition that came through was the action of transferring something or process of being transferred. Okay, or the transference of knowledge. Okay, so we're gonna look at this from a couple different perspectives. All right, so I wanted an example because I know that this can be a psychiatric term. So I wanted to look at that, okay? And what it says is transference occurs when a person redirects some of their feelings or desires for another person to an entirely different person. One example of transference is when you observe characteristics of your father in a new boss. What's good, lady soldier? Okay, you attribute fatherly feelings to this new boss. They can be good or bad feelings, okay? So transference. Why is Spirit bringing this up? Okay, happy Thanksgiving, right? Okay, so we're gonna talk about this because I feel like that wasn't the only thing that I received, right? So also, we've got Jupiter and Neptune together in Pisces. And this is, Pisces, the house of Pisces is the hidden. Okay? So it feels like Spirit wants to talk about maybe things that the divine feminine and the divine masculine may have hidden from themselves. Okay, so I feel like that's the subject today, okay? Mystical, and the mysteries of the 12th house and what we hide from ourselves, okay? I'm also feeling the mirror, okay? And, this transference, when you look at it from a therapeutic standpoint. What's good, Cynthia? And it says, I'm going to read it again. Transference occurs when a person redirects some of their feelings or desires for another person to an entirely different person. Okay? What's good, Phoenix? What's good, Jennifer LaRoe? All right, so I feel like what they're saying is they want us to look at, today is Valentine's Day, so I don't think that this was an accident that I got this message for today. I feel like what the divine is saying is that there's a lot of people who are holding on to old heartbreaks or old situations or old traumas or old triggers. And this is blocking their ascension. Okay, so I feel like, the last couple of weeks, Spirit's been heavily pushing this whole lightening the frequency. And I feel like what they want is for us to look in some of those corners, 12th house, hidden things that we've hidden from ourselves so that we can move into this new timeline. All right. So that's, and like I said, some of this could be the knowledge that you're getting, the transference of knowledge. Okay, so we're gonna get into it. I'm gonna light some Palo Santo. We're gonna light some incense. We're gonna see what comes through and why Spirit chose this. And when I got this message, I was meditating yesterday because Sundays, I usually do, you know, any preparation for the week, spiritual work that I have to do. And I do a lot of research for the upcoming energies, okay? And yesterday I was doing a meditation and this word transference came through, okay? So I feel like they want us to get into this subject, okay? I feel like it has to do with our ascension or our continued motion on this path to our soul's journey, right? Now, I made a note when I was getting this because I didn't want to forget anything, all right? And one of the things that I said, and I feel like if you want a good assignment for Mystical Mondays, being that the full moon is on Wednesday, I feel like this good assignment would be whether you're the divine masculine or the divine feminine, okay? You should ask yourself, what would your divine masculine or feminine be like? Okay? Instead of looking at it from the eyes of the experience that you've had in this 3D, because a lot of us get stuck in looking back. I'm hearing thinking back in time when love was only in the mind, right? So we have visions of people we loved and we might hold them up as the image. But I feel like this paradigm is time to shift it. And instead of looking through the catalog of your mind or of your heart for examples of the divine feminine or the divine masculine, thank you, Pink. I feel like what they're calling us to do is to tap into our higher selves and ask ourselves, what type of partner does our higher self really desire? Okay, so even that question, I mean, even before I get into throwing cards, let me tell you, it fucked me up, right? So I thought about that and I was like, you know what? I feel like the Cinderella and this Barbie stuff has fed the divine feminine illusionary images of what the divine masculine should be. And I feel like if you tap in, okay, and the same thing goes for the divine masculine, right? I feel like if you tap in, your higher self knows what it is that they desire, okay? And so I'm challenging you as the divine feminine or the divine masculine, all right, to ask yourself what your higher self actually needs or wants from a partner. Because I have a feeling that if you asked yourself that, you would find that it isn't at all the reflection of the past. Okay, so I feel like that's why Spirit is calling us to do this on Mystical Mondays. They want us to look in the dark places, and it's not a coincidence that it's Valentine's Day. All right, so I asked myself, let me tell you something. I got like a little bit lost in the transmission once I started asking myself, like, what would this divine, if I was to build the divine masculine, right, I probably would strip away much of, you know, what has been taught, right? So like I thought to myself, like, if I could build my divine masculine, he probably would have been either in a single parent household, like raised by a divine feminine, or he would have been raised by two women. Why? Why do I think that that would have been an ideal divine masculine for me? Because I feel like many of those men who have the, I want to call it a luxury, of being in the household with two women, parent figures, okay? they would have a different vision of what the divine masculine and the divine feminine would look like. Okay, meaning that they would have two feminines, but they would recognize that one was more masculine than the other. They would have a different outlook on love. Okay, so I feel like that would be one of my examples, right? I think another example would be a divine masculine that is not afraid to show emotion, that is comfortable, you know, with showing emotion. Right now, for another, you know, feminine, that divine masculine might be something completely different, and I feel like that's also part of this, that they want us to recognize that there's not a yes, Jennifer, that there's not a box or a model, okay, that we're each on an individual path. And what's good, Sugar Plum? What would work for one person, maybe not another, okay? So those were just my thoughts, and I'm really interested in hearing your thoughts and the expansion on the idea. And I feel like we might even go in a completely different direction, because what they're talking about two subjects here. Okay, I feel like they're talking about the transference or getting the higher knowledge from your higher self. But I also feel like they're talking about what traits have we maybe gravitated to, that we have transferred those traits onto other people. So we're going to take a look. I know it's quite expansive. Okay, and we're going to see what the divine wants to tell us about this, okay? And I'm really not sure why they picked this, but I feel like they want to get some kind of message out to us, okay? I also feel like, you know, there could be transference in other ways, okay? Like, you know, are you playing out what you feel the divine feminine looks like instead of embracing your inner divine feminine? I mean, there's just so many ways that we could look at this. So we're just going to take a look and see what message Spirit is going to give us today, because I feel like this could be a heavy topic. Maybe that's why it feels so broad. Look, divine love in reverse. Okay, and it says, when you offer everything to the divine with detachment, you begin a love affair with Spirit. And I feel like this being in reverse, you know, what if what we were taught isn't at all the picture of love, but it's more the picture of codependency and restriction, toxicity. Okay, you got right now. And it says, stay in the present and don't get too far ahead of the flow. You'll soon trust that nothing more will come than can be handled in each moment. And this, you know, this is Valentine's Day, right? There are some people who get very blue around Valentine's Day. They feel locked out of love, or they feel like they don't have someone to share love with, or even those that are in relationships, but their relationship doesn't mirror the textbook Valentine's picture, right? And I feel like Spirit is, you know, challenging us to examine what we really feel is divine love, and have we been living that? Okay, you got expansiveness. And it says eternity is far more creative than the rigid, constrained, and exhausted ego. What's good through Maddie's eyes? Okay, so I feel like this expansiveness is like they want you to look at it in a different way. Think hangman. Okay? Think of, it says eternity is far more creative than the rigid, constrained, and exhausted ego. And have we been living out roles that have been taught to us because that's the way we envision love should be? Grief. And has it been leading to grief? Okay, tears are what happen when the ice in the heart melts. And you know, this isn't about blaming the divine feminine or the divine masculine. I feel like we're both in this paradigm that has put illusions as to what we are to be. I feel like there is a time to grieve those beliefs that have led us in the wrong way, okay? Anything else from this deck, Spirit? Anything else from this deck? Humility. Okay, and it says, allow me, divine, to always accept the right assistance. I will welcome your help in every way and delight in receiving it. Okay, I feel like I feel like this can tie into this expansion. This also can tie into the message that I was saying about getting a message from our higher self, a transmission about this transference. Okay? Have you been living out the frequency of love if you really don't know why you have been reflexively falling into patterns of what you think a relationship should look like? I really feel like that's the message that Spirit is trying to get to, right? Are you acting out love, or are you living in the frequency of love, which is way two different things, okay? Two different things. And what does love mean to you when it comes to the divine feminine and the divine masculine? Okay? And, you know, and I keep saying it because I want to make sure, you know, that I'm being clear. Like, when I say the divine feminine and the divine masculine, I am not saying just man and woman, because like I started off saying, you know, there are same-sex unions, okay? But there will always be one that is more feminine than the other, okay? Spirit, what about this transference message? What are you wanting us to understand? What are you wanting us to understand? Can you show me? So it says seek here. I feel like she's sitting there and she has her hands open up to the divine, and there are two birds. I feel like these are representative of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. I feel like we need to re-examine what we feel is a reflection of unity, or what we feel is a reflection of love, or the frequency. Okay, you got teach. You know, what were you taught? What are you teaching to the parents? Right? I feel like this is number 5, and I feel like there's something here about the change that, you know, we were talking about the priestess the other day, and being, you know, the wife of God, right? And how she's entrusted with the divine masculine and the divine feminine. She's the only one that can create both. Right? So is it time as the divine feminines, okay, let me speak to the divine feminines for a minute, to look at the message that we believe in love? Because, you know, if we're the reflection of this divinity, what are you reflecting? What do you believe? And what are you teaching if you haven't really, you know, taught yourself or examined yourself what you believe about love? You got believe and succeed. I don't think that that's an accident. Okay, I feel like this is coming from the higher self, okay? This is a boat out at sea, okay? Headed towards, you know, a soul's path or an ascension here. You know, we might envision that the only way to learn love is through someone else. And there might be some truth to that. But I feel like they want you to examine 12th house again. Examine what you really believe, or what you have been taught, or what have you hidden from yourself about what you believe is the frequency of love. Listen, Spirit's asking you to confront this. Confront what you've been taught. Confront your shadow self. Have some of these ideas of love, have they been formed out of pain? Or out of your lower self, or the parts that you hide from yourself, or the secrets? Okay, if you see this image, this man is standing in the daylight, okay? But what he sees is hidden. It's the moon. From the divine masculine standpoint, you know, the moon represents the mother. You know, there's also something called the Madonna complex, where the masculine has a perception of what he feels maternal looks like. And, you know, they can get into a relationship with a woman and feel as if they shouldn't desire her anymore because it's not motherly. This can be one of the reasons why there's so many masculines who go outside of their relationship, because they feel like the mother or the wife should not have to, like, they can't see her sexuality because it's disturbing, because they tie it to the mother. So they seek that outside. I mean, that happens. Right? Whereas some feminines will look for masculines that mirror back the toxicity they had in their own childhood. I mean, that was one of the definitions, okay? And then what comes out is balance. So I feel like also what they're saying here is that to come into balance with someone else, you have to come into balance with yourself first, and what you believe is love. And you need that union of oneself to be able to experience real love. Okay? Anything else from this deck, Spirit? Thank you. Share the love, right? So I don't feel like this is a mistake that these cards came out in succession of each other. You know, you got to confront what you believe, right? So that you can come into balance, so that you can have the ability to share and experience love, okay? So I feel like that's a whole word in itself. All right, let's get into these astro codes. Let's see how this energy that is happening cosmically, how this is affecting this transference and this beginning of us starting to look at ourselves in a different way. And that may be true, Copenhagen. The key word must be to have learned pure love and respect from other human beings from home. And that is the mission that we teach them from little. But for all of the generations that was not the case, right? I can't believe that that all of us that have experienced toxic childhoods or toxic images of what it means to be the divine feminine and the divine masculine, that we're all lost because we didn't learn it at home. We have a chance to learn from our higher selves. And I feel like you can't teach love if you can't understand what it means to you, okay? So I really feel like what they're asking us today is, rather than be all, mushy in the sky for, an imaginary Valentine's message, that we need to, if we really want to call in love, regardless of where you are, whether you're single or, in a union or not, that we need to examine what we've been taught about love and what we believe about love. And how do we see ourselves in that? Right. So Jennifer says, I've been seeking unconditional love since I was given that from my grandfather. I was blessed. And listen, we talked about divinity and, how someone can come into your life and be the example of the divine. But what is the divine? What is the frequency of the divine? Love. Right? So you have out here first house arrival. This is the self. I guess the first question is, do you love yourself through the eyes in which you, like, how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself through your eyes, or do you see yourself through maybe your parents' eyes, an ex-lover's eyes, your children's eyes? And does that reflect the same thing that you see? Okay? Or are you accepting other people's transference? Because let me tell you, like, one of the terms, we talked about how psychology, this is a term, transference, right? So a lot of times, a therapist could have a client that gets a crush on them. They're not really crushing on them. They're crushing on some type of characteristic that makes them, reminds them of someone that was in their life. That's transference, right? But have you accepted somebody's vision of you as true? Right? Because that would be like double transference. Like, not only do you not see, you're seeing yourself through somebody else's eyes, but not only that, you're accepting it to be a fact. And is that because there's something about not wanting to look at oneself? You have Mercury Messages here. Now, Mercury was in Capricorn and it's about to head into, I believe, Aquarius. So things are going to start picking up energetically. I feel like there's going to be a lot of messages coming through from Spirit about what we believe. Mercury is thought. I also feel like it's time to shift the paradigm of the divine feminine and masculine. In other words, we don't have to tear each other down to see ourselves as reborn or rebirth or new. If you see, there are two snakes here. Okay? I feel like to come into union, we have to shed the old skin. Okay, Capricorn, achieve. What are we building? What are we building? And are we building this idea of love on the Tower. Because, you know, I look at my grandparents who were married over 50 years. There was a lot of toxicity in that relationship. There was, I mean, they had a beautiful and wonderful marriage. Okay, they had 4 children together, you know, but was it an equal mirror? Was she appreciated as much as he was, and vice versa? Did they see love, or did they see the roles they were meant to play? And I feel like before we, you know, because we're already like in this new age of Aquarius, and so many things, you know, are beginning to change around us. I feel like they're asking us to look before we go any further. What are you looking to achieve? What are you looking to build in love? And is that going to be on a firm foundation? If you haven't looked in the 12th house, if you haven't looked at what you've hidden from yourself, it's time to be real with ourselves. Debilitated, discomfort. Is it scary? Does it make you feel uncomfortable to recognize that maybe some of the toxicity that you've been transferring to other people really lives within you, because you were taught to believe what love was supposed to be instead of feeling what love is supposed to be, because your higher self knows. Okay, so let's see if there's anything else that wants to come out of this deck. Okay, conjunction, alliance. They want us to re-examine what we think it is to be in partnership, whether, you know, this is even with ourselves, you know, in partnership with the divine feminine and the divine masculine, but also what does alliance look like? Or what do we want it to look like? Remember when I said that, you know, Spirit asked me to consider, what would my divine masculine be like if I could build my own? Right? So think of it as a wish list. Right? Now, we never, you know, and I hate the word never, you know, because it's nothing is impossible, but Spirit brings us what's best for us. And sometimes they tweak our manifestation to bring us something better. Right? But I feel like first we need to look at, because Saturn, who's also sitting in Aquarius, Saturn's job is to make sure you did the work before Jupiter gives you the gift. Jupiter is sitting in the 12th house with Neptune, clearing away, you know, illusions. Right? So what if we're being asked to look at how we have transferred the beliefs of the past into the future, and how we're trying to build on this? Okay, you got Ceres, nurture. What if nurturing isn't what we thought it was? Right? What if we've been nurturing the lower aspects of ourselves with these preconceptions of what love is? What if we need to nurture our higher self so that we can get really the message of what we need? Not what our mothers needed, or our fathers, or our grandparents, or how it worked then and how it should be, but what we need here now. Moon, perception. Right? What is your perception of love? And if you were honest, was it a healthy one? Okay? I feel like they're calling me to use this Shaman's Dream Oracle. Haven't used this in a while. We're going to see why. think they really want us to shift our beliefs. What if we've been looking at it upside down all this time? You have jeweled web connectivity. What does your beliefs of the past or how you were taught it should be, how does that connect into the experience that you've had thus far? Was it really beneficial? Spirit of the river, movement towards adventure. I feel like, that first card is 32, reduces to a 5, and the spirit of river reduces to a 5 as well. It's card number 50. Spirit of the river, movement towards adventure. You could continue to, go the path that you were taught to go, or that you believe by whatever TV images or whatever. But I feel like that will move you away from the adventure of learning the real definition of love, or allowing yourself. I mean, river is the sweet water. Sweet water is love, right? So let's change the words here. Spirit of the sweet waters, or spirit of love, movement towards adventure. Are you willing to try or open yourself up to something new here? Right? Dream thief, refusal of the call. I don't know about y'all, but this Barbie shit and all that was taught to you, I feel like it leaves a lot of our divine feminines, little girls, our inner child. It leads us to feeling like incomplete, or like somebody stole the dream, or maybe the dream was wrong. Maybe we were building it on something false. Okay, I say build because that's number 13, reduces to a 4. That's the number of building, Capricorn energy, refusal of the call. Are we allowing ourselves, by just mundane reflexiveness, to continue to perpetuate this this system that inevitably leaves the divine masculine and the divine feminine unfulfilled? And then who stole the dream? The past, or you, for allowing yourself to, because it doesn't feel right. Let me tell you, when I was a little girl, my mother took me to the psychiatrist. I was 5, right? She took me to the psychiatrist. Why? Because I was cutting off the heads of the Barbies, or I was putting the belt around the neck and then popping their legs off, right? And I think that the reason why I did that was because I didn't see myself in Barbie. I didn't see myself in Barbie. So it's like the thought of this whole doing things as it was done, we know it doesn't lead to fulfillment, but yet we do it out of reflexiveness. Spirit, is there anything else in this deck that you want? You got dances on one foot, balancing act. So I feel like as feminines, let me talk to the feminines for a second. I feel like as feminines, we've been trying to break away from the paradigm that the women only belong in the kitchen, or, whatever. We keep trying to get away from this paradigm and, break these glass ceilings and go to work and become CEOs and entrepreneurs. And yet when we come home, if we're in a relationship, 9 times out of 10, the the jobs that were feminine are still considered ours. In other words, like you could go to work and there's a whole bunch of laws in the workplace as to like sexual harassment or what you can and cannot do in the workplace when it comes to the opposite sex or whatever, and then come home and still live in like, you know, 1950s paradigm. Right? So we're still trying to, we're breaking free, but not completely, because we're still, you know, somehow tied. And I bet you that if you ask, you know, a lot of feminines, and I feel like I raised my daughter in a very, you know, forward leaning way. But I still feel like I look at her, she has a, you know, a 3-year-old right now, and she still feels the same things that we felt. Like the pull of balancing motherhood versus career, and what is her obligations and why the masculines have less obligations. You see what I'm saying? So it's like we're stuck in this in-between place, maybe because we haven't really spent any time thinking about this transference, okay, or continuing this system, even though we inherently want to break away from it. Okay, whale song resonating, even though in our soul we can hear the call of the divine feminine, but it's like we just, and I feel like that call is, you know, like our higher self, like something doesn't feel right about this system. Yeah, we don't get to enjoy it because of the length, you know, the way it was set up, that all like the grunt work is on the back of the feminine, and then all of the 3D work maybe, or financial was supposed to be on the masculine, and this system is all, it's all fucked up. It's got us so confused about where we need to be to experience love. Like, look, and in the hand, the universe is your partner. It feels like the divine is saying your partnership with us has to be first. You have to, you know, connect with your higher self and love yourself first enough to not need to reflect what people, you know, have transferred onto you, or to be, you know, in your authenticity is how you'll experience love. Many masks, the authentic self. You see? Right? And what does your mask say? What does your mask say? Do you have one that says mother? And then another one that says wife? You might have one that says whore. You know, and that's, you know, I mean, it's fucked up. Okay? Why, you know, maiden, mother, and crone, right? Maiden, mother, and crone, we are all things. Why does the feminine, you know, why is she labeled whore if she wants to explore her sexuality? Right? There's so many twisted parts. Dust devil. As we try to break through from this transference that's been put on us, right? Are we able to see beyond the toxicity? Dust devil, right? Are we able to see through it? Lost compass, getting back to integrity, right? I feel like, you know, the divine is asking us to wipe away what we envision, you know, the roles to be. Remember the other day when I did that Isis reading, what was the one word that was coming through? Androgyny. Right? What if we, both the divine masculine and the divine feminine, were to purge, let's say, the terms, right? And just be divine beings, right? So that we could put the 2 parts of ourselves together, or the 5 parts of ourselves, and then the other person would have the other 5 parts, and that would come together and be the completion, the 10. Wailing tree, reconciliation. Okay? I feel like we have to go into some dark places to get to this, honestly. Like, seriously. The burning of the old paradigm. We need to burn that away. Okay? Let's get some Isis, and then I'm going to get into the tarot. I don't know, and I just feel like they want us to start looking at, because it's important. Listen, the divine feminine has been dragged. Absolutely. We talk about that a lot over here. But I also want us to look at what lies we're continuing to tell ourselves. It's like when a little kid comes up to you and they're like, why, the kids are always with the whys, right? Why is the sun, yellow, or, and then after like the 10th question, you get frustrated and you're like, because that was the always way it was done, because that was the way it was taught to you, because that's what you know to be true. Right? But why? Are we looking at the why? Why do we believe this? Why do we perpetuate this? Why do we endure this? Same thing for the masculines. Why do you believe this? Why do you project this? Right? If the divine masculine is feeling like overwhelmed by emotion and recognizing that they were not permitted to feel, but yet they will tell their son, stop crying, then he's perpetuating that same thing that has made him feel that he's in a prison. How many of us, male or female, whatever your sexual preference is, not the point here. What are we perpetuating? Yeah, we were told, don't think, just do it. And I feel like Mystic Mondays today, on this Valentine's Day, in this new paradigm, in this 6/6 year, Spirit is asking us, what do we believe and why do we believe it? Okay? Chariot of Ascension, spiritual work of a higher initiate, okay? I told you, before we can get any lighter or ascend any further, we need to look at ourselves. It's not only about that other person. What were you taught? What do you believe? And where did this belief come from? And does it really resonate with you? Spirit of Isis, the triumph of the goddess. What if you could create your own image of what love is? The freedom to do that. Wouldn't that be amazing? High Priestess, mysteries revealed in the eyes of Isis. Are you looking through someone else's eyes, or are you looking through your own? And what does your higher self tell you is true? Sit with yourself and ask yourself, through whose eyes do you see yourself? If you have a partner, Ask yourself, whose eyes do they see you through? Bet you it's not their own. The brother in darkness, overcoming negative energy with the feminine power. And we were talking about how the divine masculine is called to ascension through the divine feminine, the call of the womb, right? I feel like, for us to be able, or I should say for them to be able to see us through true eyes, we first have to see ourselves through true eyes. The scars of the childhood's eyes. Exactly, right? What they were taught. And are we mirroring back the right shit, or are we mirroring back the toxicity of our childhood, of our experiences? Because that's the shadow self then. Divine guardian. Protection of the winged mother. I feel like they want to restore the feminine energy, but we have so much to unlearn. It's not just the divine masculine that got to unlearn some shit. Us too. I mean, we are the keepers of the children, male and female. So if we don't unlearn it, we perpetuate it. Portal of light, she glides on wings through time and space. I feel like we can't even go through the portal of light if we can't look at how we've been deceived. Like, we need to release some things that the shadow self endured, or that the inner child endured, or that was trained to us, so that we can, be able to enter this new timeline. Look, past life, present power, the many spiritual faces of you. What does it say? If I could hold time in a bottle, the first thing that I'd like to do is spend every day until eternity passes away, and I'd spend them with you. And I feel like they're asking us to release that, to stop seeing ourselves through these constructs, and understand that there's 5 parts of you, the many spiritual faces of you, okay? And start looking at what that means in your own love, okay, for yourself, and what you want to build in love. I feel like really that, when they talk about, soul retrieval, deep soul healing with the goddess. Okay, so it's like trying to, both for the divine masculine and the divine feminine, purging these constructs, these unhealthy constructs that have had us bound, right? Okay, so let's get into some tarot, see what comes out. And what are they trying to tell us to do? And listen, don't forget, from here to the full moon, which is Wednesday, look at what your belief is of the divine feminine, and maybe write another one as to what you were taught the divine feminine looks like, and then also do that for the divine masculine. Okay? Spirit, what's the message here with this transference for this Mystical Mondays? Can you show me? What do you want us to see? What do we need to learn this Valentine's Day about transference and love. Can you show us? Woo! There's a whole message right here. Ace of Cups in reverse. How can you feel love? How can you feel love if it doesn't feel like love? If it doesn't resonate as love? If it doesn't light up your chakras, right? The frequency of love will align you, not undermine you, right? Ace of Cups in reverse. I mean, ooh. So do we have a distorted view of love? Is that what Spirit is saying here? I just want to make sure I have the cards in the upright because this is too serious of a message to be playing around. Okay, let me give this a quick shuffle. Why is this love in reverse? You know, and I could have did a you versus them today. But I feel like what's more important is, why do we see love the way we see it? And how is that affecting, you know, bringing in love? It feels like your higher self knows this is not the direction. I feel like this is why so many of us have trauma from our childhood, because we're modeling a system that didn't work in the past and it still doesn't work. I feel like your higher self is calling you. I mean, look what's on the bottom of the deck. The Nine of Swords, the anxiety, right? It's like you know that it's the wrong direction, but you don't know how to change it. Let me get one more for this Ace of Cups in reverse. Why is this the vision of love? Look, the Empress comes out crossed. On this deck, the Empress is standing with her mini Empress, her inner child or her physical child that she is rearing in her reflection. God damn. And then it's crossed. Right? And it's not an accident that when we're in our youth, you know, we always blame our parents, because maybe we see their unhappiness with the system and they teach us the system anyway. And then they never feel nurtured or fulfilled. And then we bring that in and keep doing this. Thank you so much, Copenhagen. And then we continue to do that. And we never get to be fully healed, magnified, enlightened, because we're holding on to these old paradigms, these old, you know, systems that really are caging the divine Empress or the divine feminine. Look, Two of Swords. Like we're battling each other because we can't see, but yet we keep doing the same shit, or we don't want to see. Which is it? Two of Swords. Right? We just feel like, you know, if we keep on, we'll, you know, eventually we'll win. We keep saying, well, you know, and listen, this also goes to, and I said it briefly, I said, you know, it's not just how we see the divine masculine, but how we see the divine feminine, right? So we perpetuate the system. We do the same shit. When we see a feminine and, you know, let's say a divorce happens or something, or the masculine is cheating on the feminine, what do we say? She must have not been doing her thing. Why? Because we want to believe that if we just do exactly what was taught to us, that will get the victory. Why? How many have you seen that it still doesn't work? Right? And then this is also, you know, the divine masculine and the divine feminine in the 3D, not wanting to see the reflection of their partner, but yet looking at their partner through the reflection of this, you know, transference, right? And just wanting to win, just wanting the attention to be heard, but we're not listening. We're not even listening to ourselves. How can we listen to each other? Let's keep it a fucking buck. Right? Wheel of Fortune. It's time to change that. High Priestess is here. Spirit, why is this High Priestess here? Can you show me? Can I get one more? You got the High Priestess here with the Emperor. Double message. Double message. The Emperor was taught that he always has to have a mistress. That's powerful, masculine, right? Right? But also his higher self, his divine inner feminine is also screeching at him to go to calmer waters, to change this paradigm. King of Wands. It's like it's all burning down around him. Will he take action? He wants to believe that he's the leader, right? Or is he going to continue to see it all burn down around him and say, well, I still did it my way, so I'm the masculine? It's as if I feel like the systems of the patriarchy are being burned away. And the masculine is not really sure where they need to head to, okay? Now I'm hearing, who do I run to when I need love? Right? I feel like there's something here about the divine masculine needing to view himself through more than just the 10 of Pentacles. That shit has given him hella sleepless nights too. Because on the day that his pockets are empty, does it mean that he's not the emperor? Is that all that his whole worth is? Does he have to shed his tears in darkness and never feel the warmth of the feminine because it would mean that he's weak? He needs a new perspective too. He needs a new perspective too. It's not just the feminine. You got the 4 cups out here. Are we all just going through this reality feeling like we lost the opportunity for real love because we were looking through somebody else's window or somebody else's eyes as to what we were supposed to be doing, right? Sitting, you know, I'm hearing sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away, right? So are we never getting what we want because we are still waiting for something that was, you know, not real, that was taught to us, that would always leave us unfulfilled? Or are we going to wake up with the 2 of Swords in reverse and take that blinders off? See the truth that Spirit has been trying to bring us, that these were constructs that were put on us, that we were never meant to see ourselves in that way. All right? Page of Wands. Right? Are we just running from these demons, but running right into the arms of the same shit? We have an opportunity here with the Page of Pentacles. You know how much you could learn from your higher self if you would listen? Has the divine feminine become embittered? We had a whole reading about that. Embittered because of the Seven of Swords, because of the lies that were taught to us, to the lies that we experienced. You got the Hangman here. It's coming out in reverse. All right now. All right now. We've been stuck here too long. We've been stuck here too long. Seven of Pentacles, waiting for something to matriculate into fullness when we know damn well the shit don't work. Judgment. How many have tried the same system and have felt, you know, unfulfilled? Look at these souls going up. Look at this one lost at sea. Look at this one in the boat by himself. We all are going through the same experience and feeling hella isolated. Because I feel like the divine masculine is taught not to feel. And the divine feminine, it's like she's taught, it's not to feel. She's taught not to rebel, to continue to do the same thing. Right? You got the Nine of Wands here in reverse. Let me turn it over. I don't like to see what's coming up. Nine of Wands in reverse. I think Spirit wants us to release. I mean, the Nine of Wands is post-traumatic stress disorder card, right? Are they asking us to? Yes, they are. They're asking us to let go of these old traumas, these old paradigms, these old systems that have not worked. They have not worked. So that we can experience real love. We need to walk away. Okay? Walk away from these paradigms. I also feel like this is a journey within. This path leads to your higher self. Some conversations are needed about what we believe. What are we choosing to believe? What are we perpetuating? Right? Moon in reverse, guys. Wow. A whole mouthful. What do we believe, right? Here's the moon in reverse. Well, the moon is the mother. So we could all take a gander at our moms and see, you know, was she fulfilled? She could have been a great mom, not knocking our moms. You guys saw me shout my mom out the other day, right? But the point is, did she ever feel complete? Right? I feel like this is also talking about, you know, because the moon is also secrets. So how we were talking about the 12th house and the hidden. What do we hide from ourselves? Time to look at it. Time to uncover what you really believe the divine feminine is. What do you really believe love is? How do you really see yourself? And what does, you know, commitment, right? Hope, faith, marriage. What do you really believe about that? Do we even know? I was thinking, you know, when I got this transmission, like, and I've been married twice. I have three long-term relationships that I've been in. Don't mind me, I don't match. I'm still in my pajamas. Gonna go outside a little later. But I feel like When I was thinking about this, as I'm 50, I'm a widow. I've been married twice, like I said, and I really don't know what it is that I believe about the union. Now that I have the experience and the knowledge and I have connected more with spirit, I feel like I have to first, as the high priestess, what is my marriage to the divine? Because that has to come first. What do I really believe about myself before I can commit myself to someone else? I feel like that is what we need to be doing. And if we are looking at marriage, what do we believe about that? What are we hoping for? What do we think we'll gain from this? This is all good conversation to have with yourself. How many people, male or female, get married, whether it's in traditional or same-sex unions? So many people marry and then divorce because they weren't even in sync as to what they believed the responsibility or what it meant to be married. I mean, we really got to check in with ourselves, okay? With this moon in reverse, they want you to examine what you really think. I mean, if you woke up this morning in a blue mood because you were by yourself, why? Think about why that is. Were you told as a feminine that if you're alone on Valentine's Day, then you're not worthy? Let's have a conversation. Is this not a day to fill your own cup if you want to, celebrate the holiday, right? The Fool in reverse. Or are we just going to keep the cycle going and never have the courage to step out there and rewrite what love means, or how we express love, or how we feel love, all of these things, right? Or are we just gonna keep going through with the illusions and our heads in the clouds, and someday Prince Charming will come, and and I'm sure there's some for the masculine, although I can't think of one. Okay, so I feel like this is why we need to look at why we believe the things that we believe, right? At the bottom of the deck is the divine masculine, the King of Swords, right? Look how he's guarding his belief. You see that book he's holding? Let's say that book is his beliefs, right? So he's guarding this belief, head over heart. I'm not supposed to open this heart space. My job is to provide. I am guarding as it was done and as my father has done it and his father and the father before him, because this is what it means to be a man. And then look at the divine feminine with the little boy who's ill. But that was him too at that time. What are we perpetuating? The divine masculine knows that this system hasn't worked for him. He doesn't feel fulfilled either. He doesn't feel fulfilled either. It's left him cold. He craves for that feminine energy, whether it's from his mother, his sister, his friend, his lover. He has it within him, but he doesn't have any idea how to tap into it. I really feel like that was the message today that Spirit wanted us to look at, was why do we believe these things? Why do we, even that we've already, listen, even some of the masculines that are not as evolved, right? If you hear them talk, most of them will say yeah, the system doesn't work or this, that, and the third. but they're still maintaining it. So it's not just, it's both of us. It's both of us. We both bear the weight of this, okay? Coffin. It's time to kill off the old paradigm. Look what comes out, the Lovers. Look at the two doves, the purity of love. Can we get back there? We don't even know what that frequency feels like, what it sounds like. Look, it would be a gift to ourselves, to our partners, to our children. You know, we got to stop thinking that these masculines don't want to do it right. They do. Okay? They do. They were taught the same thing. Sudden wealth, number 11, the 2. Real abundance is love. But we're still stuck in a cage. Because to get out of here, we have to tear down what was taught to us about courtship, okay, about these expectations of walking in the shadows of our parents and our forefathers and what we think it's supposed to be, okay? High honor, all right? So, you know, we're sitting around waiting for engagement rings or whatever the case may be. But the high honor comes from, you know, tapping into your higher self and understanding what you really believe in about love, about yourself, about your worthiness, right? That would be the true wealth, male or female, right? All right, so let's get a love and romance. And I'm going to get up out of here because it's Valentine's Day, all right? And I actually want to spend a little time today. I'm not giving you guys an assignment that I'm not taking. I want to spend a little time thinking about what it is that I believe about love and why. Anything else from this deck, Spirit? Anything else? Okay. So you have religious factors. Okay? Regardless of whatever your religion is. Okay, it says your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. This was taught to all of us, regardless of what the actual religion is. Whatever we learned at home, we're bringing forward. There's like two realities, right? There's the one that you were taught in your individual household. But like when you look at the Barbie and Cinderella and all this shit, it was also mass, like disseminated to the world, right? So there are some things that put us at odds from each other by these roles of the feminine and the masculine, but there's also restrictions that have to do with our beliefs and the experiences that we had. So we've got, you know, it feels like the death of these, you know, constraints of belief, right? We got let go of control issues. Like we got to stop trying to adhere to something that has not worked to try to force it to work because somehow we think that it'll be different for us when it's not, all right? Express your love. Go ahead and make the romantic gesture. I feel like we could start with ourselves. Expressing what we really think is love. I think that we might even be surprised to hear some of our own answers. Okay, stay optimistic about your love life. Positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. You know, you could redesign your thoughts about love. You could have a conversation with your higher self. And instead of, you know, these manifestations, instead of writing, you know, this manifestation about love based on what you think a divine masculine or feminine is supposed to look like. What if you had this conversation with your higher self and ask yourself, what is it that you need from someone? Or what is it that you would like to experience with somebody? What would be fulfilling in love? And I feel like that would be a whole widely different thing than, you know, when you write a manifestation about love. Because I feel like we are writing the old paradigm, honestly. Separation. We need to separate ourselves from that old paradigm. I feel like that's the only way. And I know that it's going to be reflexive. It's going to be easy to fall back into the pattern, but make the effort anyway. The children need a new paradigm too. It's not just you in this moment. Remember that, you know, and I'm speaking to the parents now for a minute. Remember that you are shaping the future right now. Do you want them to take the wounds that you didn't heal in your childhood, the things that were passed down to you? You want to give them to them, or you want to think about how you can make this place a better place? Now I'm hearing, we are the world. We are the children, right? So let's start building. I really want, listen, I think that they really are asking us on this mystical Monday, on this Valentine's Day, to ask yourself about that 12th house and what you've been hiding from yourself and what you've been perpetuating on yourself, right? And you know, I told you guys Saturday, like, do something loving for yourself. And please, I hope you do. I went and brought some steaks and some crab legs, and I'm gonna make it happen today. Okay? So I feel like, ask yourself, what do you believe about love and why? And what would you like to feel? And does that match up with the way you've been thinking? Okay? So that's pretty much what I have for you guys. All right. I just want to make a quick announcement. Tomorrow, Patreon, I'm going to do the free question and answer for my level 2 and level 3 Patreoners. Okay, 7 p.m. What else? The new products are up on the site. I have spent the weekend blessing and dressing and doing all that kind of stuff. I actually gonna show you one really quickly. This little candle packs a punch. Okay, this is my protection candle. Just look at that beauty. Okay, just look at that. All right, so you know, head over to the website LoveleeSoulEmpress.com if you're interested. Okay, I also did the Florida water soaps. All right, I did them in a 3-pack because I'm not gonna make you pay shipping and handling for 1 bar of soap. Okay, so they're coming in 3 packs. All right, but yeah, go over there, check it out if you're interested. Okay, all the shipments that have been ordered will be leaving Thursday morning. Okay, what's good, Claire? All of the shipments that have already been all the purchases that have already been booked, they're leaving Thursday morning because you know how I like to work with that moon. And Wednesday is the full moon. So they'll be leaving in the morning, all right? So that's pretty much what I have for you guys. I'd just like to say thank you to my returning subscribers for coming through and spending a little time with me. And let me just say, single or alone, love on yourselves today. Okay, and know that I have love for you and that this is always a safe space and we will always learn, you know, and try to love and learn the frequency of love here together. All right. So I'm wishing y'all light and love and blessings on blessings. Namaste, gang, gang. Bye.